All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Music Making Monday. I'm Afro DJ Mac, and I'm going to be playing around today with Sensel Morph. And this is a really cool little device. Got some feedback. Let's turn that off. So, yeah, maybe let me know if you need me to adjust the volume of the voice or the music. I think I have it balanced pretty well, but you never know. But this is the Sensel Morph right here. And it's a pretty cool little device. It's about the size of an iPad mini. You can see it kind of compared to my hand here. This particular layout I have is a drum pad layout, but there's all these different layouts. Keyboard, a drumming layout. You can actually play drums on this. You can hit them with sticks. It's kind of cool. This is for video editing. And this one is a customizable one. It's clear. And you can actually, go and draw in what you want underneath it, and the pad will sense the areas you've determined that you want to use for whatever it is. And there's a really cool app that makes it pretty easy to adjust what part of the pad does what. So you can really customize it as much as you want. And then, like I said, you can draw something on a piece of paper, put it under, and you lay this clear pad on top, and you will have your own little layout. I'm going to play around right now with the drum pads and just kind of go through it a little bit with you. So right now I'm just playing some drums. These are my VHS drums. And they're a bunch of drums I recorded to VHS tape. Now, what I like about this, and it was honestly a little bit surprising, is it feels like something you're actually touching. So if you've ever used like an iPad or an iPhone, sometimes the screen it doesn't give you much feedback. You're not really sure when you're touching something. But these pads are very easy to feel, and it actually feels like you're playing a bit of an instrument. So I think it's a lot easier to play than, say, like a screen on an iPad. What's kind of cool, they are velocity sensitive, which is pretty amazing if you ask me. I'm not even sure how that's even possible. And on this little row down here, we have some keys we can play. We got our drum pads here. We can keep the velocity steady or make it sensitive with these little controls. And we've got some little knobs we can use. And you'll notice as I move along the way, you can see this little light going to kind of give you some visual feedback. It's kind of nice. And one little cool difference from an actual knob is you can go from like all the way on the right directly to all the way to the left, which is a nice little feature. And there's a couple strips here, similar idea, kind of like faders. And you can map these to anything you want inside your project. Maybe what I'll do right now is I've got this little channel strip here inside of Live. I'll go into my MIDI mapping, and I'll map this to my low pass filter, and I'll map the one underneath it to the high pass filter. Come out of MIDI mapping. And you can see I'm controlling the low pass filter, and like I said, you can get like these kind of like instant values depending on where you press on the strip, or you can slide it up. And same thing with our high pass filter. So you have nothing. So nice little handy thing there to have. You can kind of play around with your drums really easy like that. So I thought I'd also show you the piano layout. So let me take this out. And I'm going to switch tracks. So I got these keys, my Haze keys, some of my favorite keys from my Haze Ableton Live Pack. And I took off the drum pad right here, and I'm just laying this thing down. And it senses pretty much immediately. And now I'm playing the keys. And something that's really cool about the keys is I've got like a pitch bend depending on how I move my finger. So I can play like a chord. and bend those chords really nicely. Which is kind of fun. It gives you this like sensation of like you're pushing and pulling your sounds a little bit. You can do a vibrato. Pretty nice. And there's a couple of cool functions here. We can play chords. Minor chord, no chord, major chord, minor chord. I think that's kind of neat. So you can play with one hand. The keys are a little slim, so they fit a 2-octave keyboard on here, so it does take a little bit getting used to. And they don't press down or anything. I'll show you if you can see on the camera here. It is pretty flat. There's a little bit of an indentation, like the keys stick out a little bit. But it's mostly flat. So you can clearly feel where the keys start and end, but they don't actually press down like keys. And for that reason, I do think the drum pad is a little more practical for use, but the really cool thing about the keys, like I said, is the way you can just kind of bend the pitch. Just kind of rolling your fingers a little bit like the Rolly C-board. So I think that's pretty nice. It's cool that you can just switch over to something else. And I'll just really quickly show you the drum pad, because it's kind of fun. We'll put that on here, and I think this is set up. It's kind of laid out like a drum set. I got my kick here, my snare, my toms. There's my ride. And give me 1 second. Let me grab a set of drumsticks here. And you can actually, a little tough, but I'm also trying not to hit my camera here. And there's 2 different sections by default. I can hit right here for one of my snares, and then over here on the top for my other. Looks like it's a little tough to see on the video here, but there are like little sections, these little like sad faces. That's what I thought they looked like at first, little sad faces, but they divide up the drums and the pads. So I got like a cymbal up here. Also velocity sensitive. So again, that's just a kind of fun thing. If my camera wasn't here, it could be like a cool little thing where you can kind of wail on your drums a little bit. Small targets, but I think it's still kind of a fun little feature to have. So I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna go back to my drum pad here. And what I thought would be kind of fun is to sort of do something interesting with the Sensel Morph device, was to make a free Ableton Live pack for you to download. And I figured, why not make a 16-pad drum rack? So I'm going to make ourselves a new MIDI track here. I'm going to hit Command F. I'm going to write in drum rack and down arrow twice, hit enter, and we've got a brand new empty drum rack. So I'm going to just go into some of my packs here and I'll grab a few sounds. I think I'm going to go with the VHS drums. They're kind of the drums I'm sort of hyped about the most. We got all our kits here. We can go into our samples. And we'll start with a kick. Pick out something interesting. Kind of like that. It's a little bit of a gated reverb on there. Oops, let's switch record, enable to this track we're working on. I think I can delete this track here and go. Right, so we got a kick drum. Let's pick out a snare. So we'll go into our snares here. Something big and monstrous. These are all sampled to VHS tapes. I'm I might like 36 is kind of fun. Let's do 50. I think it's going to sound good with our kick. And let's not leave 36 out. We can put 36 over on that pad right there. Right, so we got something there. Let's go grab ourselves some hats, closed hats. That sounds good. Closed hat 7, I'm going to put it right here. Those sounds make me laugh. They're just so 80s-ish. All right, clap 9. You are going to be our friend today. And we'll grab a couple toms. Let's see, something big and... All right, 7 and 8. You guys are perfect. So go back down here. 7. And we'll bring up 8. They kind of remind me of a Michael Jackson song. I think it's The Way You Make Me Feel, maybe. And we should probably have an open hat, right? Yeah, let's do that. I think that matches 7 kind of nicely. Now, a little harsh. I'm just kind of bringing back the high frequencies a little bit. Now, if we have a hi-hat, of course, we don't want the open hats and the closed hats to sound at the same time. So I'm going to go to my ins and outs here, and I'm going to put them on the same choke group. And what that means is when one sounds, the other will silence. So now that I've got the closed hats and the open hats on the same choke group, my open hat gets silenced when my closed hat hits, because there's only one hi-hat. You can't have open and closed at the same time. Does not make any real sense. And we're going to come back to that later, because next thing I think we should do is make some chords. And we're going to not really want our chords to bleed over on each other, so we're going to use another choke group for that. So let's go into our haze keys, and for that I'm going to just swap out my pad for this keyboard pad. And the best part about this, well, one of the best parts about the Morph is that it so quickly switches between pads. I mean, it's instant. As soon as you switch, you've got your new pad. It just recognizes it. You'll see like that little light. It's like, oh, that's what you got? Cool, let's play. All right, so what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set up an audio track and just record a couple chords. I'm gonna label this chords. Call them haze chords so I know what I'm talking about. These are also from my Haze Ableton Live pack. Haze is just really meant to be these really pitchy, kind of out of tune, fun keyboard sounds. So what I'll do is set this audio to resample, record, enable it, and that will just resample anything coming out of the master. Do we want to do anything to this? Let's leave them as is. We're not going to go too crazy. So I'm just going to play a couple chords, and we will then slice them up and put them on our drum rack. So I'm just hitting record, and I'll start that E minor sounds nice and put the 7 in there. Cool. E minor, so let's maybe do an A minor 7. We'll keep the E in the bass though. I'll try to do this right. Okay, maybe we'll do a D minor 7 as well. Throw in the C in there. Let's see. I'm gonna actually throw in the E also. Let's see what that sounds like. That's nice. let this kind of move around a little bit. We can throw in the G because that's just where it wants to be. And we'll maybe leave the E and the G just for a little fun. Right? And we'll end it with a C major 7. Let's see if we can get away with this. Nice. So let's see what we got. I'm gonna bring us over into arrangement, just where it's a little bit easier to chop this up. Okay, and that first chord sounded pretty nice. Going into my drum rack here. And let's just get in there. I'm going to turn off our grid. Command 4 will do that. And I'll grab this and Command E to break it into its own little section. And I'll just rename it E minor, I believe that one was. And let's see if we can drop it on a drum rack right there. Let's see what that sounds like. All right, so it didn't name it E minor because I did not rename that, but we'll go back and do that. So let's move on over here to our next chord, which was an A minor. Grab that, Command E, and we'll drag this onto our drum rack, and we'll rename it A minor. I think we went to the D minor, didn't we? They played that twice, didn't we? We threw in that extra note at the end. Yeah, it sounds nice. So Command E. Let's click on our drum rack, put our D minor there. Right, and I think we had 2 more chords. We had our G with that nice E in there. So that would be like a G6. So we're going to put that there. Yeah, that would be a G6. And then we'll grab our last chord, which was the C major 7, which is kind of a cool chord because it's actually got an E minor in it. Nice. So, whoops, let's go back in here. C major 7. All right, let's just see what that sounds like. So I'm gonna go back into my drum pad. Again, you'll notice how fast and easy I'm switching. Okay, now we're hearing 2 chords at once. It's kind of crazy. So we're going to use our choke group here. We're going to take all these chords. I'm going to highlight them all, and I'm going to put them on choke group 2. So now they cut each other off. It might be nice to have something else also to choke these out, because that chord's gonna just play on for as long as I held it down. So maybe that's what we'll yeah, whatever. Well, maybe we'll just leave it. I thought it might be nice to get like just a couple little like pluck sounds too. Let's take that off. And let's go back to our keys. Are you noticing how easy it is to switch these sounds? I'm going to make this an octave lower. let's see. We'll make this resample again, and I'm just going to set it, we got that set to resample. We do. And we will record on our resampling track these sounds. So we'll just have to pick out a couple notes. I think an E would definitely be called for. And I'll just record a little bit here. B. I'll pick a D. Wonderful, we don't need that. And we'll zoom in. So we're going to take our little E here, zoom in on that, and that ought to be plenty. Go to our drum rack. There we go. So that was our E. Go in here. What did I say? We had a D. We had a D. We'll make this a D. And hello, people in the comments. Joke group will change your life. I'm glad to help. And let's just make sure I grab. Whoops. No, I did not. So we'll just shift click that. And I guess I'm going to have to zoom in. Should just be hitting the Z key because that makes it a lot easier. Just zoom in on your selection. This is the B. All right, I'm going to go back now to our drum rack here. I'm starting to feel like maybe we overdid it with too many drums, but whatever. Let's see what we got here. Kind of nice. These chords are a little too long though. They are kind of driving me crazy. We've got ourselves set to one shot. We could go to classic on these, but then we do have to hold it down. That makes it kind of hard. Maybe we're just going to deal with one shot. Maybe what we'll do is just make more of a fade and not have quite as long of a sample here. Fade out over the course of a second or so. And I guess we can do that for all of our little guys here, our E minor. That should be long enough for anyone, right? Our A minor, we'll do the same thing. Yeah, that's plenty. We'll go to our D minor, do the same. And we'll go to our G. And our C. That's cool. Yeah, I don't think we need all these drums, honestly. We could probably take something out, should we? I don't know. It's up to you, I guess. we could we could add a few sounds. Maybe we want like some sort of like noise rising kind of deal. Maybe we'll pull out this snare and we can make some kind of noise. Let's have a little fun with, how about echo? So one of the things I love about echo is that you can make some crazy noises with it. So we could just put it really on any track here. You don't even need any sort of instrument. This is our resampling track. Maybe will that matter? That shouldn't matter. I'm going to just delete everything here because we don't need any of that stuff. Go all the way back to 1. And close this out. Echo, what's fun about echo is once you start feeding things back. So we can add some noise here. Go into the character, click on noise. And you have to be careful because you will get some crazy stuff happening. You can hear it. It's getting very excited to go nuts. Good little tip, limiter after that so we don't get anything too wild. We've got inside here a filter, which, you know what? Let's use our little morph here to control. Getting excited. Okay, so I'm just going to click MIDI map here, and I'm going to click on the high pass, and I'll click on the low pass as well. So now what I can do is control these using my, there we go. So we can do something like this, move these guys around. So now we can crank up our feedback, which we'll also use our morph for. We'll use this little guy here. So we can just kind of crank this up. And even a little bit more. Kind of want a little more resonance on that. So turn that down for a second. Yeah, so I'll just record a little bit. Maybe I'll put a little bit of reverb on there too. Oh yeah, you can hear this is going to get fun. And we'll hit resample, and we'll just record whatever we get. Fun stuff. All right. Back, and we can even just turn echo off because we don't need them anymore. And let's have a look at what we got. A couple fun little explosions of sound. I mean, I guess we can go either way, right? Kind of like that ending. So maybe what I'll do is I'll take this here, do something like this. Fade that out too. Move that out of the way. Nice. And delete these guys. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but sometimes you just got to make a decision, you know? I could open up Echo now. Maybe we'll delete all this automation. All right. Clear all envelopes for Echo. What are you still lit up for? You just want to be lit? Okay. And maybe what we can do even now is put on a nice fun delay. Just kind of see what happens here. We can turn off our noise. We're not going to need our noise anymore. Nice. And that gives us like a little bit of a stereo thing happening. I kind of wanted to just fool around with grain delay a little bit with the frequency. So maybe what I'll do here, I'll go back in here. I can delete what I have here for my Sensel here, and I'm gonna do pitch here. And I'm not gonna have it go all the way down to 36, we'll make it to 0. And just what I kind of want to do is something like that. Not exactly what I was expecting it to do here. Let's just see this here. Right. What happened if I made it down here? So I mean, actually, it's reacting a little differently than I expected. I'm going to try knob instead. See what that does. That's a little more what I'm hoping for. So I'll have to look into why that's going the way it is, but nonetheless, we've got a solution. So you know what? I think I do want it to go down as far as I had it. Just maybe not all the way to 36, but something like that. And I'm not going to have it all completely 100% dry wet. Nice. So we're just going to set up a new track. We're going to resample this on this track. This will be noise, and we'll start right here. And here we go. Let's get our record on. All right. I'm just gonna, we can turn that track off. Let's make sure we got everything we want here. Just kind of a silly sound, really. We'll consolidate that into its own little clip. And we'll replace that drum sound. And maybe what I'll do, yeah, we'll leave it there, right? No, let's do this. Switch it with the tom. So we got like, let's now go back to our drum rack. Chord enable that. All right. Clearly way too loud. Let's turn that down the volume a little bit. Okay. And I do want it to start a little more. So there we go. It's kind of a fun little thing we got here. Little weird sound made just from echo. And a little transpose control there. Actually putting an arpeggiator on one of these sounds kind of fun. That can be up to you when you download this. This will be a free download that I make. Gonna work out a little pattern here, but there you have it. These are kind of fun little sounds. So, yeah, what's cool about this is if you've noticed, I've been able to switch between these two pads very easily and map things that worked out pretty well. And it was a fun little device to have, and I've really only touched, you know, the real tip of the iceberg. I've got some plans really to, like, maybe what you can do in the software is you can map things not just to like MIDI notes and MIDI CC, but you can map them to key commands. So I'm thinking like this whole row of keys down here would be really cool to just have like editing features like copy, paste, consolidate, duplicate, all of those features, reverse, you know, whatever you use a lot of inside of Live, you can just have right here to just instantly do things that you do often. And that's a pretty easy setup within the Sensel Morph app. So I hope you found this interesting, and I hope you do download the pack. I'll be putting this up on the website shortly. You'll be able to download it for free, and head over to Sensel Morph and check them out. They've got a whole collection of these overlays. The customizable one, the clear one, which is really cool, which I'll have to work on something for you sometime and show you. And it's a solid little thing. It's really made well. It's kind of like a metal, I guess, and I'd say right about the size of an iPad mini, maybe even a little bit thinner. It's light. It's great for sticking in a bag and being on the go. It's a super easy MIDI device to have, and it's customizable, which is really fun. And it's got the tactile feedback that maybe something like, you know, an iPad screen doesn't have. So thanks a lot for watching. I'll put this up on my website shortly. I'll make sure I let you know. And thank you very much. Take care, everyone.